So today we will study host header attack. So today's agenda, host header, I think everyone you know about host header. Host header means from where request is generated, means host, like what is the host. So normally, like, yeah, I think I explained it previously, host header. So what is today's agenda? What is host header attack? Basic password reset poisoning, host header authentication bypass, host header to web cache poisoning, routing based SSRF, and SSRF via flood request passing. So what is host header attack? So HTTP host header attack exploit vulnerable website that handle the value of host header in unsafe way. If the server implicitly trusts the host header and fails to validate or escape it properly, an attacker may be able to use this input to inject harmful payload that manipulate the server side behavior. Means the server see, handle the value of host header in unsafe way. One thing is that, and other is server implicitly trust the host header, means more than enough trust on the host header. Let's say we have tcrsecurity.com. Let's intercept it. This is the request, send it to the repeater. Okay, so I'm sending this request. Okay, so see, this is host header. See, host, so these all are header. So see, this is host header, this is cookie header. Okay, this is cache control header, this is user agent header. So these are all are headers. So today's class is about host header attack. So what kind of attack we can perform on host header? So this is host header. So host header, see, currently host header is tcrsecurity.com, means our website name. So what happens, sometimes applications are not properly escaping it, okay, and trusting it, okay. Because of that, we can change some things here, like let's say I can change it to localhost. Okay, so I send it, then maybe I can get the access to the localhost. Okay, so see, always, like if you see the HTTP2, change it to HTTP1, otherwise this won't work. So go to there, see how you can change it to, see, HTTP2 to HTTP1. So click on this, see, inspector, request attribute, HTTP1. See, now it's changed. Okay, now try to change it. Someday we will talk about this HTTP2. Okay, again, let's send another request, because that is already malformed. So this is okay, and change it to HTTP1, and after that, what happened? See, when we are changing it, that term, see, this is a very normal website, and we are using the one website on one IP address. So because of that, it's there is no host header. See, if website have the same, like one IP address and one website, then there is like no chance of host header. But what happen, sometimes on one IP address, let's say you buy a VPS server from the AWS, you buy, okay, let's say $50 per month. So what you can do, like you have, let's assume you have 10 websites, so you can host all 10 websites on one server. So because of that, all 10 websites have the single IP address. So because of that, we can perform the host header attack on them. And other than that, like let's say you are using the reverse proxy Nginx, or let's say you are using the load balancer, so we can perform the host header attack. So basically, if we are manipulating this, and by manipulating this, we can access the, like let's say, local host, and let's say we can access the private IP address, like this. Okay, let's say there is an IP address, and if we can access it, then there is a bug. Okay, so how we can find out, like, okay, we will talk about later. So see, if we are manipulating this, and after manipulating, if we can access some sensitive data, or like if we can perform some sensitive action, then there is a host header attack. So basically, so what is host header? We talked about this. So see, this is a normal website. See, single IP address, single website, x.com, no chance of host header. But what happened? See, there is a single IP address and there are 3 websites. So because of that, we can perform, like we can try the host header. So see, normally sometimes we don't know, like there are 3 websites, 4 websites. So you can like always try, like on bug bounty, always try to check the host header. So what is the meaning of 3 websites on one IP address? Let's say they are using Apache 2. Okay. So in Apache 2, directory is where www, see, www HTML. This is for single website. Okay. But let's assume and they are using 3 sites on single IP. So configuration is this, where www, let's say there is one is www.x.com, these are what is the xyz. Okay. So what is the configuration inside that, like HTML, and another is the where www, then www.y.com and HTML, and another is typing www.z.com. Okay. So see, so this is the configuration on C. In the backend, their server is same server, but in the backend they did a configuration. Because of that, like if you want to access x.com, then Apache server send the request to this website, then we will get this. And if you want to access the y.com, then Apache server send the request to this, then you will access this. If you want to access that, then you will access it. So how things are working, let's see. Let's say you are here, you are attacker. Okay. And there is this IP, let's say. Okay, let's assume this is the IP and there are 3 websites, and this is one website. Okay, and let's say this is second website, and let's say this is third. Okay, and let's say this is x.com. Okay, and second is y.com. Okay, this is y.com, and next is z.com. Okay. So let's assume, see, I am making this as simple as, so let's say this is Apache server. Let's say this is Apache 2. We want to access x.com. So our request goes from there. Okay, our request goes from there. First, let's say our request goes to the Apache, and I want to access the x.com. So Apache send the request to, see, all our content are there. See, these are, you can say, like these are the files. These are the files of, see, this is a IP address. So you can say like this IP address. Let's assume this IP address is let's say this is the IP address. So this is a main server. Okay, and inside that, like I put all the file, these are the files of x.com, these are the files of y.com, and these are the files of z.com. See, same here. So this is the location for x.com, y.com, z.com. So these are the HTML content for this. So let's say all website are in HTML. Okay, so if we want to access the x.com, then our request goes to the Apache, then we will access this. Okay, so then we can access this. Okay, very simple. And let's say if we want to access this y.com, then this will send to the this request for the y.com, and we will get the y.com website. And next, like let's say we want to access this z.com, then we can access the z.com. Very simple. So what happened? But see, what is the problem here, sometimes let's say this is the IP and I am running another server, like another service. Let's assume a local host. Let's say there is running a local host service. So see, local host means only internally, like I can access, see, I can access this service from this IP address, means I can access, I need to access this server. After that, I can access this. Okay, like if externally, if anyone want to access that, they cannot access because this is local host. But what happened because of this host header attack, and if they are not like validating this host header or implicitly trust the host header, because of that, let's say we change this. Okay, here let's say, see, currently how we are accessing the website. Let's say we want to access x.com, then we are sending this request. Okay, but let's say I change this to 127.0.0.1. So because of that, see, if they are not validating or not escaping, so they are sending this request for local host. This Apache send this to the there, and it is accessing the content from there. So because of that, we can access this content. Otherwise, see, if this is not misconfigured, then we cannot access. Otherwise, after, from the outer network, we cannot access. So because of this host header misconfigurations, see, this is implicitly trust this host header. Otherwise, see, they need to know like, okay, this is host header and any attacker can change or manipulate this. They do not like, they need not to be trust this. Okay, but they are trusting this, so we can access the content of localhost. First, this is the first bug is this. Okay, and another, okay, let's say we are running another service. See, sometimes you are running service on your internal IPs. Okay, so internal IPs are like 192.168. Let's say you are running 192.168.0. Let's say 30. So this is another service, and you cannot access this service also from outside because this is internally. They are running internally. You cannot access outer network. But because of this misconfiguration, we can access this because we are changing the host header. If we sending the request, then we are accessing the data. Okay. So next is see, and see, there are two types of things are working in one is virtual hosting, and other is routing traffic via intermediary. So see, this is virtual hosting, like see, they are using 3 hosting on one IP address, and sometimes they are using intermediary. See, most of the time you heard about like they are using the Nginx as reverse proxy, Tomcat reverse proxy, and Apache, like they can also use the Apache as reverse proxy. Reverse proxy means they are using another server before this server. Let's say they are using another server before this. Let's say this is the another server. So this is, let's assume this is Nginx. Okay, so this is Nginx reverse proxy, let's say. Okay, now let's say there is no bug on this Apache. So this is configured properly, but what happened this time, bug is on Nginx. So because of that, like we can also access this, because see, request is goes from there to there, then we can access. Okay, otherwise we cannot access. So request is, see, let's say request goes to first this Nginx server. Okay, and if this is see, they misconfigured, then request goes to Apache. Okay, and we and then see if this see this is inside. See, this is not outside, this is inside here. So because of that, like see, if Nginx send the request for the local host, then Apache say don't think twice about this. Why? Because see, this thing, okay, Nginx is sending, then yeah, this is this they have the trust. See, Nginx trust on Apache and Apache trust on Nginx because they both are inside the network. So if this is misconfigured and if we are asking for the local host, then this will send the request to the Apache and Apache give us the content. So this is about Nginx reverse proxy. And sometimes you will see the load balancer also. Like some web applications are using the load balancers. So load balancer also same. Request is goes from there. Means like let's say they have the 3 load balancer. So load balancers are companies are using load balancer for balancing the load. Let's say this is a website and this have the like and they have like many requests. So because of that, they can use a load balancing. Means they want to balance the load. Like if they have more than enough requests, so they can use like two load balancers. So load balancers are also servers. So these are also like acting as a reverse proxy. They're like request goes from there, then request goes there, then response, then we will get the response. So yeah, they are also have sometimes misconfiguration. So because of that, we can also get this request. Okay. So let's do some labs. First is password reset poisoning.